Hello everyone, I am back with a real quick video. It is currently 11:30 at night and I just can't sleep. So, decided to squeeze a real quick video out of my butt real quick. So, I may have mentioned earlier about my transmission fluid needing changing because it is dark, it is burnt, but thing as I mentioned earlier is changing your transmission fluid in an automatic can damage the transmission, but I don't know if you can tell from the camera. I know it looks black on the camera, but in the regular light it does still have a slightly pink tint to it. I don't know if you can see it or not. It's mostly on the edges. I think I would be safe for a change, but not a flush. It is burnt and black. I'm not going to go for a full flush, at least not yet. And as I take a close look at it, I do not see any metal specks in it. Except that one right there. I don't know if you can see it. It's like right there. It's very, very small. The flash on the camera makes it look big, but looking at it front with the naked eye, it is very, very tiny. And so I'm gonna move it around, you can kind of see it. Yeah, but I think that's the only one. And only one of those little specks in this entire amount of fluid I drained out onto this piece of toilet paper. It's actually not that bad considering how bad it could be. This is why I think I would be safe for a fluid change, not a fluid flush, because a lot of the fluid is held in your torque converter, and if I mix some of this dirty fluid with the clean fluid, it will still have some of the roughness that's, probably the only thing that's keeping the car moving down the road. But it will be clean enough for it to stop slipping and delay into going into gears. So, as soon as I get the money for that, I'm going to go ahead and change it. I'm also going to drop the pan and replace the gasket in it because it is leaking. And I've had to put a couple quarts of new fluid in it since, so it's still pretty mixed. That's probably why it still has a tad of that pink in it. But when I first got the car, the fluid was pretty pink. It just got really dirty really fast. Probably from the vent. Alright, so on automatic transmissions, you have a vent to allow the pressure in the transmission and the pressure outside of it to equalize. And if that vent is bad, like the rubber around it is bad, it can let a lot of dirt and gunk in there. So I'm probably going to replace that little vent, make sure it has a better seal to make sure something like this doesn't happen. And also, it's really kind of a gamble. I'm kind of taking a chance on this because I don't know how worn down the clutch packs are in the transmission, or or the clutch plate, the friction plate, and the actual clutch there is. I don't know how much is left of that, because putting your transmission fluid in can strip the rest of that away because it is a detergent of sorts. I think I mentioned this earlier. So I am going to take that chance. I'm going to change it out, and after I have it drained out, I'm going to drop the pan, see how much buildup is on the bottom of the pan. And if it's a little buildup, then I'll go ahead and finish the fluid change. If there's a lot of buildup, I'm probably just gonna take a quart or two out of it and kind of dilute it with some newer fluid. I know a lot of you on here might disagree and say, "Oh, no, that's a bad idea." Well, I've weighed my options, and I think I think that's the best way to go. And when I drop the pan, I'm also going to get a new gasket for the pan, obviously, so to help stop that leakage that's coming out from the bottom. And another thing, completely unrelated from this, oh yeah, this little toy crossbow that my buddy gave me, got it from a fair. It's fun to play with every now and then. Alright. Anyway, so another thing is the power steering pump. Every time I put fluid in it, it just bleeds to death. Like, it drains out almost as fast as I can put it in. And I believe that some air got in there from, from either, not the cap not being sealed on completely, and the seals being damaged, because I think someone may have used the wrong power steering fluid in it in the past and rotted the seals away, which allowed air to get into the system, which is why every time I change it, it turns milky white. So I always have to try to bleed out the system the best I can just by leaving the cap off and turning the wheel back and forth and get some of that milky white crap out of there, let some of that air out. But it's inevitable that that power steering pump is going to need replaced, and I am not looking forward to doing that. But I'm going to take that chance. I'm going to change the fluid. I actually have some new valve covers coming in the mail. Should be here tomorrow. And I'll make a video of me installing those. It shouldn't be that big of a pain in the ass. But who knows? You never really know what's going to happen. So that's it for this video. Alright. And real quick before I go, transmission fluid should be red or pink. It should be like a bright red, kind of like this tablecloth, except more see-through, obviously. It should be red is the point I'm getting to. It should not be dark and brown like this. That means it's burnt, it's damaged, it needs replaced. But I'll make a video of me putting those valve covers in tomorrow. Should be a good time, hopefully. And thank y'all. Have a good night.